I know that it's scary.
These are the people that YouTube is saying they're okay. This is the content that they want to curate.
Coming to you live from deep within a dry and windy and also sometimes sunny radioactive meme land. We are the survivors of the alt-right apocalypse, the few, the brave, the bitchy, once more wading into battle against the froggy hordes with Rant Zerker number 88. YouTube censors wrongthink. We're going to be talking about how YouTube will be censoring people who obey its guidelines, but YouTube just doesn't like anyway. And also how I am, how do you say that word? Prescient? And
prescient.
I predicted this. Prescient. And I predicted this. Well, not that it was difficult to predict, but I did predict it in my fuck YouTube video. How to fuck YouTube video.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, right? They can't terminate your channel. They can't take your videos down, but they can withdraw a whole bunch of the normal things that we're used to, like being in the suggested videos, the algorithms that direct traffic to the traffic of people who are interested in content like yours to your channel. All of those things, and they can essentially isolate those videos that they don't like and make them essentially unsearchable for anyone who doesn't have the name of the video, the link to the channel, and stuff like that. And they also have said that they want to get rid of ratings and comments and things like that on certain videos that don't violate their terms of service, but that they feel are bad or mean or whatever, right? And that would actually really, really impede, because a lot of what happens on these YouTube channels, and I mean, like, you have big YouTubers like TJ Kirk or whatever, right? You have slightly smaller ones out there. And it's not so much that there's an interaction between the content creator and the audience, but that the audience has an ability to interact with each other and hear what each other have to say, right? And so if you get rid of comments and you get rid of ratings, what you end up with is it's essentially TV. You might as well be watching TV. There's nowhere to put your thoughts down. There's nowhere to say, yeah, I agree or I disagree. There's nowhere to talk to like-minded individuals about it. And so it's just like, because I never expect when I comment on, say, a Wall Street Journal article or something like that, that the author is going to even read my comment, right? But I'm there to talk to the other readers and the community and put my opinion down somewhere, right? And I really like that. And I've gotten into the habit of not even clicking on articles that don't have a comment section, right? If it's not something I'm extremely interested in, something new to me, I'm not going to bother reading it. I'm not going to bother clicking on it if there's no comment section, because I'm going there for the comment section. I'm not just going there to be a passive observer, passive reader. I'm there to also engage with other readers, maybe the author, right? And that's YouTube's planning to get rid of all of that. So essentially, they're going to make the videos that they target in this way so unappealing to an audience that's accustomed to that kind of interaction, that kind of ability to put down their own response, their own thoughts, all of those things, that people are just not going to show up. So I think that's what they're thinking.
The problem with staying on YouTube is relying on their distribution system, and this is exactly what they're taking away now. They're not gonna cancel people's channels. They're just gonna take away the distribution system, so you don't get listed under any of the related videos. You don't get seen by the people who are searching for terms related to your content. You essentially become a ghost on YouTube, and this is gonna suck. Well, it is what it is. But this is why even before we got the community strike, I was starting to focus on just uploading reduced streams to Honey Badger Radio, not relying on taking our reliance on YouTube's features off as much as possible. And also telling people, and I'll tell you guys now, you need to be following Honey Badger Radio either on Twitter probably eventually go this way too. You need to be following us either on our blog, on Libsyn. You need to be following us through email. If you go to www.feedthebadger.com, you can sign up for our email list. You need to be following us another way.
Minds.
Minds, yes, of course. Sorry, how could I forget Minds? You need to find another way to find us, because this way is probably going to go bye-bye. And I've had, since we made the change to unlisting the main streams and just leaving up the shortened streams, I've had so many complaints by people who are saying, oh, you're changing your business model. Damn straight we're changing our business model, because if we keep this business model, YouTube is going to fuck us. So go to www.feedthebadger.com and find all the other ways you can follow us and find us. And do it now while you can still hear my voice. And don't wait. Don't say, oh, I'll do it next week. I'll do it next month. Next week, next month, you may not be able to find us on YouTube.
Let's get started.
Hey, friends.
What's up, family?
Morning, guys.
Oh, fuck off.
Meet the
Did you
YouTube.
stop this?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it just annoyed the crap out of me in like the first 5 seconds. Family?
2 seconds.
Oh, no. What I loved was Francesca. Hey, friends. Okay, I don't know if you've been paying attention, Allison. Okay, because you don't generally do YouTube drama.
Internet drama in general.
But, Andy Worski and Armored Skeptic, both of them uploaded multiple lengthy videos talking about how Francesca Ramsey essentially pretended to befriend them in order to learn shit about them, manipulate them into giving her their Achilles heels and all of that, and kept the fiction of the friendship going through VidCon. And then she went on a podcast where she essentially said, yeah, no, I'm not friends with them. I'll never be friends with them. They're disgusting, horrible people. And they're awful, and they're horrible. And I was just trying to find insider information on them and find out. And, and they told me things about their lives and their deepest, darkest hurts and all of these things. Apparently, Andy Worski was severely abused as a child, right? And she's saying, and that's why he's such a misogynist, disgusting pig now, right? And it's like, he wouldn't have shared that with you if he'd known you weren't actually his friend, you disgusting, horrible cunt. So
Can I just say something?
Hey, friends.
Can I just say something to that? And this is not, me. I take no pleasure in this, but I don't know why they thought she was nice. I cannot for the life of me imagine why they think or thought that people who believe that they are bad people by virtue of their skin color or by virtue of the fact that they are male, and they will talk about it in front of a crowd of millions for a living. I don't know how you would think that these are good people just because you confronted them and then suddenly they became cordial to you because you're, in front of them in face to face with this person. It's almost like they weren't skeptical of her intentions, and they should have been. And I'm sorry, but that's really naive.
I do want to say, right, because I'm still approaching the whole Laci Green thing with caution, right? Because as far as I know, she hasn't challenged any of her core beliefs, and she hasn't spoken to anyone who would require her to do that. She's spoken to people who are perfectly happy talking about the behavior and the tactics, right? There are no bad tactics, there are only bad targets, that kind of thing, right? But that has nothing to do with someone's belief system. Both sides of any argument are going to be prone to that, depending on what the argument is and who is perceived to be dominant in that argument, right? So when you actually have a group that is dominant, right, they can use whatever tactics they want, and there are no bad tactics, there are only bad targets, right? Whereas when you have the underdog, right, who's coming up and they have to behave much better, and they know it, and I think that they honestly believe that they would not behave in that way if they actually achieved a dominant position in the argument. But I don't know that that's the case, right? So this is just normal human behavior, this sort of hypocrisy that you see on both sides of a given argument. But she hasn't actually rethought any of the core assumptions at the basis of her ideology, and I don't think that she's wanting to do that. So I'm approaching her with caution, but at the same time, I think she's, right from the start, she's been genuine enough that I'm willing to give her the benefit of the doubt and say that, I think she's actually trying.
I fear that this diversity push seems like we're not going to be getting a lot of diversity of ideas. It's just going to be a lot of people.
This is a palette swap.
Yeah, these are palette swaps. Exactly.
This is a palette swap of the same fucking person.
Yeah.
You're palette swapping the same person and calling it diversity. Bullshit.
Well, and I was just watching a TED Talk interview, not TEDx, but TED, with Jonathan Haidt, and he said that essentially right now, we're concentrating on race, we're concentrating on sexual orientation and things like that. So we're so focused on those things, but the biggest divide in Western society these days is the political divide. It is not, and the biggest generator of stereotypes and prejudice and vilification and othering and all of the tribalistic boundaries it's not color, it's not sexual orientation, it's not gender, right? It is political orientation, it is political belief, right? And so essentially he said that, this should be the number one focus, to try to find a way to reconcile people of differing political opinion and belief, right? Find some way to depolarize the discussion, the way we did with race, the way we did with class, the way we did with, sexual orientation, all of those things, right? To depolarize that, that should be the primary civil rights movement of the next 50 years, right? But it's not going to be, because we're so focused on race and these other issues.
It's not just like the right versus the left, too. The fact is that I honestly think that if we did brain studies on enough people, we would find that there is probably a spectrum, but a slightly polar thing going on with the people who are really easy. The authority tells them something, and they're like, "Yep, I picked that up. I understand it. I'm going off to the races with it." And people who just can't do that, because I'm in the category of just can't do it. Somebody in authority tells me shit, unless I can understand the logic behind it, it doesn't become my reality. And I'm pretty sure, just judging from my own experiences, that this is probably something genetic, and in the brain. So in other words, we are like our own. To not be too ridiculous, we're like our own fucking race, except.
Yeah,
we don't have a color, we don't have a gender, we don't have an orientation, we just have a brainscape that doesn't work like theirs does.
Well,
and
it's like Jordan Peterson said, political affiliation corresponds almost precisely to two big five traits, which is trait openness and trait conscientiousness. right? And so depending on where you fall on those two traits, that's an incredibly good predictor of where you're going to fall on the political spectrum, right? So, you know, and you can be open and conscientious, and that would probably be the libertarian, you know, the maybe fiscal conservative, social libertarian kind of person.
I know that it's scary, but we have to have these hard conversations because that's the only way that people are going to learn and grow.
Because she just, like, what is likely the case when she says, I know that it's scary, but we have to keep having these conversations, that is usually what immediately follows an insult to you because you're white. Or that's usually how it goes. It's basically like, you know, your group of people are bad people for these reasons, and it's your fault that this happened all through history, and I know that it feels really uncomfortable and it's scary, but I'm sorry, we have to keep having these conversations. And by conversations, I mean I tell you what you need to do to change because you're born into original sin, and this is going to continue happening, not until you fix it, but it's going to continue happening for all eternity because you can never fix it. If there's something that we've learned from feminism, it's that the crimes that men have done and that patriarchy has done via original sin are never ending. It is a never ending process of trying to fix shit, and then it just keeps moving forward. And you take the same thought process and you apply it to any kind of social justice warrior activism, and it's just a palette swap. You're just changing men into whites, or whites into gays, or I'm sorry, straight people, or cis people, or whatever. People that are not disabled, people who make a reasonable amount of money.
Whites,
you know,
or whites into gay men because they have male privilege.
Yeah. So that's usually what happens is you have somebody saying, I'm sorry that I upset your fragile sensibilities, but you're not oppressed like me, so fuck your feelings. These are the people that YouTube is saying they're okay. This is the content that they want to curate. Did you guys hear about, for example, did you guys hear about the video? There was a video up that was on YouTube's trending. You know, when you go to the YouTube main page, let's say you go in, you're not logged in, right? And so nobody's logged in, you just go to YouTube's main page, and they have like a trending bar, and there are videos there that are supposedly the ones everyone's watching, so they probably should have millions of views. There was a video up there, it was a Miley Cyrus one. I think she's either in an interview or I didn't watch it because fuck Miley Cyrus, but there was a video there that was on the trending feed. It had been up for about an hour and only had about 15,000 views, and it was on their trending bar. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because it's important to note that YouTube's trending bar and the stuff that they show you, it's not something that is working off of some, it's curated. It's not something that's working on some automatic system. That Milo
it's not an algorithm.
Yeah, that Miley Cyrus thing shouldn't have been up there, right? That's why if you go to YouTube trending, you go to their main page, you'll never see videos from content creators that they don't like, or that they, for whatever reason. Like, you'll never see, I don't know, you'll never see Alex Jones up there, even though he has he's getting, I think he's up, coming close to 300 million subs now, or not 300, sorry, 3 million subs. Now, I mean, say what you want about the guy, but if you have enough people sub to you that are watching your content, it should probably show up as trending if people like the Young Turks or, you know, fucking, I don't know, anybody else who's really big on YouTube shows up, and they don't even get as many views as that. So take that and then couple it with this video, which is basically saying these are the content creators we're going to put a spotlight on and try to grow their content because we like what they're doing.
We're going to put a spotlight on them because they have no voice, even though they're backed by MTV and, you know, and like I don't get it.
Viacom and shit.
Yeah, I don't fucking, like, you are the establishment, you fuckers. Do you not see this? Nothing that you are saying is pissing off the man. Nothing you're saying is pissing off the man. Because you look at your like-dislike bar, right? You look at that, and YouTube is still willing to fucking sit down and sponsor you and fucking promote you and all of this shit, right? You're a fucking corporatist. That's what you are.
Man is signing your checks.
Right? Because you're not getting audience feedback. You're not getting views because people like you, right? You're not getting views because you have a message that resonates with the grassroots. No, you have a message that corporations love.
Yep.
Yep. And big government. Anything that's, you know.
Well, corporations love big government because corporations are able to purchase fucking government influence, right? And that's the fucking frustrating thing is like capitalism on its own would be great. Socialism on its own would be, well, I mean, like, it wouldn't be great, but it would be one thing. Socialism on its own would be another thing, right? But when you have a combination of big socialist government and these huge corporations who can buy influence in that government, right, then you got a problem. Because now it's not government that's in charge of you. Government is just the people with the guns. Right? Okay? And the corporations are the woman on the end of the phone dialing 911 and lying and said her husband beat her.
Let's go look at Jack Conte.
Okay.
His constant vibration may actually cheer me up.
Poor man's Vsauce.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to go.